Will you share, this is a great spot to share with listeners. I mean, you have a lot of business experience, and I would love for you to give listeners practical, actionable strategies and tips about how your mindset shapes your reality. You know, as we talked about, you were a guest for the How Thoughts Become Things. I'm curious what you would be willing to share there in terms of what you've learned over your 30 years plus of coaching and consulting in that area.
The first thing people need to understand is that your thoughts control everything in your life. Your thoughts can actually change your genetic makeup. Literally, scientifically proven, it can change your genetic makeup. It changes your neuropeptides. It changes your everything. It changes all of your cells. And if you're putting in negative thoughts and negative energy, your cells, it attaches to your cells. And so any positive cell you have, you mix in that negative, it's going to start to overpower the positive, and the cells divide, and they all do. And when they divide, you've got all of this negativity now running rampant through your body. Now, the good thing is we slough off our cells every, I don't remember what, 20 days. And so you're okay, because you're going to slough them off. Just start putting in the positive thoughts. But it's going to take you 20 days or more to get those positive thoughts to change your biological makeup. But your thoughts really do make a huge, huge difference. And my book, Emotional Power, as you were saying, it's the logic behind emotion and the emotion behind logic. And logically, what I tell people is, if you don't feel good right now, ask yourself, what am I thinking? What was I doing? And ask yourself, do I like feeling this way? If the answer is no, then you have to say, I need to find something else to think and something else to do. And I call them mental shifts. And a mental shift is sometimes easy and sometimes hard. Sometimes they just happen. I'm driving down the freeway one day, and this has been, oh gosh, 35 years ago easily. I'm driving down the freeway, and I'm always just panicked because I hate being late. I like to be early, and all the morons on the freeway, and I'm driving, and I have to change lanes, and I look over my shoulder, I look in the rear mirror, and I go and change lanes, and of course, what happens? Somebody's there, and they honk and they wave with just one finger. And I am horrified. I am so embarrassed. I hurry and get back in my own lane, and I'm waving with all four fingers and thumb going, I'm sorry. I was so embarrassed because it just was not I just didn't see him. I looked. And, so I was embarrassed. And if it hadn't happened as quickly as it did, I'm not sure I would have even thought to have that mental shift. But it couldn't have been, I don't know, 30 seconds at the most later. Some moron cut me off. And I'm going, idiot, moron, who taught you how to drive? I'll bet they're as embarrassed as I just was. And so all of a sudden, when people started to pull in front of me, instead of letting my mind go to idiot, moron, my first thought was, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. And funny thing is that it impacted the way I drove. I wasn't a paranoid driver. I wasn't waiting for some moron to cut me off, but I was more conscientious. I was more alert to what was going on around me. I stopped having as many near misses. I saw somebody come up. I slowed down, let them in. They're never more than 3 cars ahead of you on the off ramp anyway. Come on.
Yeah.
And those guys that go 50 miles over the speed limit, they don't get there before you because the cop pulls them over. So but I had a mental mind shift. I was now calm when I got to work. I had no issues.
Yeah.
And so what I tell people is, if you're feeling great, stop and say, what am I thinking? What am I doing? And if I like it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, if I don't like it, then say, how do I shift this thought? And sometimes you just have to reframe it just a little bit. And an example is, and you'll catch it, I'm sure, as soon as I say it. I got really sick, and I got a disease called enterococcus, a bacteria, world's deadliest bacteria. And I ended up being on a PICC line for 4 months with a 27% chance of living.
Wow.
27% chance of living. Now, How might I have said that negatively?
Yeah.
A 73%.
73% chance of dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I knew I had a 27% chance of living, hey, that's 26% more than I need.
Yeah.
And I was fine. And the whole nother story and how I found out about that. But the doctor's like, I'm not worried about it. It's not a big deal with you, because it's not that I, have an unrealistic. I'm not afraid of dying. Never have been. I don't have a death wish, but I'm just not afraid of it.
Yeah.
And two, I look at things differently. Had
Yeah.
I looked at, I have a 73% chance of dying, those thoughts would have changed my cellular makeup and would not have been able to fight off the bacteria like it did.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, I was getting sick for 4 months, but a 27% chance of living, and just reframing it that way made all the difference in the world. So
Yeah.
when I tell people, if you're going to do one thing, pay attention to your thoughts. People say, I cannot control my emotions. And I say, you're right. But you can control your thoughts. Therefore, you can control and change your emotions.
Yeah. To listen to the full episode, head on over to nfacoaching.com, hit the podcast link, and it'll take you to all of the full episodes. And go ahead and leave some comments. I'd love to hear from you to know how these inspirational interviews, tips, and tools are impacting you in your life and business. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of the Max Potential Habits episodes.